everybody, I'm Clare Farrell. I was a co-founder of Extinction Rebellion, and now I'm working to help build a new democracy from the bottom up.
I'm Jessie-Lu Flynn, actor, immersive theatre maker, old school raver, and person who gives a shit. Good Neighbours is a podcast, and as we just had explained to us, part of the Fête of Britain, which goes around touring, building democracy from the ground up, using workshops and art to bring people together and make a positive change in communities.
And we're filming live today from WOMAD Festival at Byline's World of Words stage. So this is our WOMAD special.
Ooh. Our guests this evening, is it this evening? It's so bright outside. This afternoon include Hardeep Matharu, the editor-in-chief of Byline Times, who are hosting us tonight.
Author Anthea Lawson.
Everyday activist Nela Geuer.
And we've got performances from Redmond, from Hot Poets, and singer-songwriter Gemma Rogers. Britain's Got Tarot, and first of all, we'll be welcoming onto the stage the MP, Clive Lewis.
But first, Claire, I haven't seen you for 2 months. We haven't done a show for 2 months. How have you been?
Oh, relaxing, obviously, having a massive rest. No, I've been all right. I mean, the world's quite on fire, so that's been, worrying me a little bit.
But you've got such a lovely colour. So
yeah.
It doesn't matter.
No, how about you?
I've been good. I've just come out of being brainwashed by Instagram to really care about football, which was really weird. I got really invested. Did anyone else? What happened? I don't know. They are quite fit. But I'm over that now. I went to Sweden and I had a swim in their lakes, which weren't infested with shit, which was quite a treat. I do recommend it.
Super duper. And I've been gardening. So how's everyone's gardens doing? Bit difficult, isn't it? The courgettes are all right, everything else quite fucked.
Do they survive the heat?
Yeah.
Why?
They survive anything.
Oh, really?
Yeah, anything.
That'll be the future menu.
Yeah. Basically.
Wonderful. Okay, so first of all, we are going to start with some good news. Starmer is out. Woo! And Burnham is in. While we've learned not to get our hopes up too much, and bearing in mind his chief of staff is James Purnell, a known corporate lobbyist, we're celebrating the fact we at least don't have to listen to that bunged up, slippery weasel anymore. Also, Mia Fambula is the new Minister for Net Zero, and Miata, the Labour MP for Peckham, has said publicly she wants the UK to be net zero by 2030, so let's hope she sticks to her guns. And Andrew Tate has finally been arrested. Self-confessed woman hater Tate and his gormless idiot brother have been held in America for a total of 59 charges between them, including rape and sex trafficking. We hope the greasy hate mongers don't get off this time. And in fact, Alex, our producer, signed up to Andrew Tate's newsletter for research purposes purely, but I've been getting really worried that in consuming all of that shit, it might start to have a weird effect on him, don't you?
No, he's got a really clear head. I'm completely confident Alex
Are
is
you
fine.
sure? Where is Alex?
Let's dance.
Oh, hey, Alex. It's
Maybe
a slippery road, research, honestly, but we'll do anything for the podcast. And now, we've got a story from our environmental correspondent for the Good News, internet sensation, Sam Bentley.
Hello my friends, we've made it to July, and if you're looking for an escape from the relentless headlines, you're not alone. If you're new here, I'm Sam and I make videos highlighting good news and solutions to some of the world's biggest problems. So let's get into it, and our first story takes us to Albania, where a movement known as the Flamingo Revolution won support from the European Parliament after more than 100,000 people took to the streets in 18 days of protests. MEPs are calling on Albania to repeal a controversial law that allows development inside protected areas and to immediately pause new construction in the Vjosa Nata wetlands. The protected landscape is home to flamingos, sea turtles, monk seals and hundreds of bird species, making it one of the Mediterranean's most important ecosystems. The Parliament's vote sends a clear message. The environmental protections and the rule of law are non-negotiable for countries hoping to join the EU. With Albania aiming for EU membership by 2030, lawmakers have made it clear that protecting nature cannot be sacrificed for development. And for the people who spent weeks filling the streets, it shows that public pressure can make a difference.
And a few weeks ago, me and Alex were on the ground in Makerfield, the now Prime Minister's constituency, and there were a lot of flag shaggers on the ground, lots of people holding banners with some very loud opinions they weren't afraid to share. Let's see how we got on, shall we?
Hi, David, and I can see that you're voting for Restore Britain today.
I am, yes.
What are the specific things that led you to want to vote for them in the first place?
Well, exactly. To try and restore Britain as it used to be. I'm very, very concerned and worried about the mass illegal immigration. That's not their country, it's ours. And it's our money that's been spent on it.
What do you think it takes to be a good neighbour?
Tolerance.
Every patriotic Britain should be saying it louder that this country has been run down by immigrants.
Where are you from?
I'm from London.
But do you originate from somewhere else?
Yeah, I'm from Nigeria originally.
And do you not worry that some of that messaging, there's certain people that are like, anyone who's not born here needs to get out?
No, that is not the message. And that's why I'm saying that people are misrepresenting what our leader is saying.
Are you concerned about reform and restore?
Yeah, I think, they're pushing some extreme values, that most people don't believe in, I don't think.
As we know, there was very few Labour people out on the street that day, but Andy Burnham did win, just in case you're wondering. And we've been wandering the fields of this here festival, meeting some people.
We're here at WOMAD with
Maddie,
Lynn,
and
Sammy,
Ryan,
Mari.
Elwoodon.
Michelle.
How are you enjoying WOMAD, Michelle?
It's always lovely. Fantastic.
I've been here multiple times before.
Amazing.
Really enjoying the new venue.
Is there anything you're looking forward to?
Benjamin Levi.
Barrington Levy. Green. I get her name wrong all the time. Green
Tea Peng, defo. I love her.
Have you guys seen anything that you've really enjoyed?
I liked the rollers, the skateboarding, and I also like the climbing.
One question we ask everyone is, what do you think makes a good neighbour?
Someone that is always there if you need them.
Someone who is open and got a good sense of humour and free.
Somebody who's accepting, somebody who's not too nosy, and somebody who's willing to have a chat if you're trying to have a chat.
Yeah. How about you?
I would say someone who becomes a friend.
Yeah.
Sweet. And that, my darlings, was the good news.
Right, so it's almost time for us to welcome our first guest onto the stage. A few years ago, I was acquitted for breaking some windows in a protest, and I spoke to Clive, and he said, why don't you come to Parliament and we can have a pint in the Strangers Bar, because that will probably really annoy quite a lot of people. So that's the kind of guy he is. Please welcome to the stage, Clive Lewis.
Can you quickly explain what the Strangers Bar is?
Yeah, that's where people go to get themselves in the papers for drinking too much.
Who?
Cheap beer. It's MPs and staff, so mainly MPs, but staff and guests. So staff can go in there on Thursday and Fridays on their own, but MPs get priority and can only go in there on Monday to Wednesday, sitting days. I don't think it's that cheap. I mean, if you come from up north, anyone from up north? Yeah, it's not that cheap. Still £7 a pint, but it is theoretically subsidised.
Subsidised.
But you took Clare in there to parade her around in front of the politicians to be like...
She paraded herself. She didn't need me. She didn't need me to do that. Yeah, she was like, "Oi, you! Oi, I know you." So
It was very kind of you to buy me a pint.
Thank you. Lovely to see everyone, by the way. Having a great WOMAD? Good. My first one. Be kind. Be gentle. I feel like the kind of...
You've still got your bag on, Clive.
Oh, right, sorry. I feel like kind of What's the guy? What do you call someone that comes after, like a post fluffer for Zach? I'm not sure. So, yeah. But yeah, there you go.
So, into our questions for you. You've got a new boss.
Yeah.
What's the goss? Tell us about
Well,
him.
you saw the thing out there. There's a poster out there, and it says Clive Lewis, a massive supporter of Andy Burnham. I'd like to clarify that. We supported Andy because Andy talked about ending neoliberalism, something some of us have been talking about for quite a while. Yeah. Jury's out on that, but we'll see. I mean, I'm unclear John Healey isn't the person I'd have put in number 11 if he wanted to end neoliberalism, but who am I? We shall see. Basically, I would have given my left testicle to have Andy Burnham and have got rid of Starmer, or McSweeney and Starmer and that cabal, and have someone who's basically said, I'm not going to kick you out of the party or the PLP simply for voting with your conscience. That's a material improvement, and I'm very happy that we now have a better political culture inside the Labour Party. That's good. But that's about as good as it gets at the moment. We will see. There is no one from the broad left inside the Parliamentary Labour Party who has been put on the front bench. So that will have escaped most people, but there is no one from the broad left who has been put onto the front bench. Now, when Andy talks about building a broad party of all the talents and all the wings, it's not quite true. The left, and that's about, I'd say, 50 plus MPs, those who voted consistently against the nefarious immigration and asylum policies and those who voted against the welfare bill at both votes, there are about 50 MPs, none of them, or virtually none of them, a couple of PPSs, parliamentary private secretaries, it's kind of the lowest rung of the front bench ladder. With the exception of that, none of them are in ministerial or cabinet positions. So I think that tells you a lot. It's still quite sectarian. You know, clearly there's space on there for West Streeting. You know, the man that basically brought Palantir into the NHS. There's space for him, but there's no space for those of us who think that's a jolly bad idea. Yeah. So I think, let's see where Andy goes. I want him to do well because the stakes are so high. People who think Nigel Farage is finished, and we might come on to that in a little bit, but people who do, you mistake. You're mistaken. He isn't down and out. He's taken a bit of a hit. He will be back. And if it's not him, it will be someone else. What you're seeing at the moment, and one of the things that Zach didn't explain, I don't think, when I listened to him, when he was talking about Nigel Farage, were the material conditions which make Nigel Farage possible. And that is the fact that the ruling capitalist class in this country are hedging their bets. And at the moment, because of the 5 million and other things that have happened, they don't know whether to hedge their bets with Kemi or with him. And so the jury's out at the moment. They will get behind whoever brings in the most tax-reducing, deregulating, anti-climate, pro-oil, big business agenda possible. And by threatening Leveson, he's kind of, I think, damaged himself, frankly. So I think, there's a lot to play for. I want to see a Labour government, and we could be coming in for an early election, but I want to see a Labour government that genuinely takes apart neoliberalism. But what do you replace it with? But I would argue socialism. But let's see where we land.
Thanks very much. One of the things that you probably do have to replace it with is much more empowerment for much more people. So I know that you helped us to host a roundtable focusing on what can be done to build bottom-up neighbourhood governance, because a lot of people don't know that the new English devolution bill that's been passed and has gone into an act is, it says that local authorities have to make some affordance for neighbourhood level governance. And then, of course, because that just sounds good, there's no description of what that actually is. And given that we don't really have very good neighbourhood level governance in this country, it seems like that's an open space. And Andy's making kind of all the right noises to suggest that he believes that actually what we think should happen. And obviously that's to be, found out how that plays out. But can you tell us a bit about that situation?
Well, yeah, I mean, I sound particularly pessimistic, and that's unlike me. But look, what Andy is talking about, he's talking about devolution, and he's talking about, he's got number 10 North, and he's pushing power out to the nations and regions. And he's getting really excited about this. But unless I'm mistaken, I don't think anyone else is. I mean, people are like, okay, this looks different. This sounds interesting. But no one's getting excited about it. Why aren't people getting excited about it? Because we don't know where that power is going to go. We can kind of assume, given the kind of trajectory that most post-war governments post kind of 1979 have been on, we can kind of assume that if it goes to mayors and if it goes to strategic authorities like Andy, then what you're going to see is these increasingly powerful governor-type personalities. But if Andy Burnham said, I'm going to devolve power, and I'm not just going to devolve it to mayors, I'm not just going to devolve it to strategic authorities, I'm going to devolve it to people and communities. We are going to have regional assemblies in every region, so that we're going to get rid of the Lords, and the second chamber will be in your region. You will have tax-raising powers, and in your own assembly, we will make sure through legislation that you give more power, push power down to communities in the way that we've been discussing with the community organisers, but also with citizens' assemblies. This is something which Parliament is quite hostile to. When I was putting forward my public ownership bill on water 18 months ago, the line that the whips took was, we can't attack Clive. And I know the briefing because I was told, we can't attack Clive's bill because he's asking for public ownership, because most of the country think water should be publicly owned, okay? Yes. It's not rocket science. So we'll attack him on the democracy angle. This mad idea that citizens' assemblies might possibly have a better idea about how to distribute power and what to do with water than Parliament. And so my colleagues were standing up and saying, we don't need a citizens' assembly, we are the people's assembly. Well, my God, listen to yourselves. Look at how unpopular mainstream politics is at the moment, because it isn't dealing with the issues that affect people's lives, and it isn't dealing with the fact that power has been stripped away, not just from communities, but from institutions. Look at trade unions as an example. You used to go into work and you used to be able to stand up to the boss or the corporation and demand pay, demand rights at work, stand up to them. But that's been emaciated, it's been taken away. Controlling your lives from how you rent your home. You don't rent it from a local authority that's democratically decided. You rent it from a billionaire or from a corporation or from a private landlord who doesn't have to do very much in terms of listen to you. So people have had power stripped away from them. And one of the things that Andy needs to do, if he wants to get people excited about devolution, is explain, where is that power going to? People don't just want it going to another opaque institution or some powerful individual like a mayor or so on, who may or may not do good, who may or may not push power down. So I think that's the missing ingredient from his devolution programme.
Yeah, I think that's brilliant. And going on to the water thing that you've just mentioned, because we do have a shitty water crisis, did you know that earlier this week Matthew Wright, the former Southern Water boss, has been charged with allegedly planning to manipulate the water testing and lie to Ofwat and the public about the quality of the water they treat? And obviously our friends at the Citizens Arrest Network have been out doing citizens arrests on water bosses, been extremely popular across the political spectrum, and in all parts of the media they had a very warm reception, because people are so absolutely sick of the state of this sort of individual, sort of non-accountable corporate kind of problem. So can you tell us about the water, about your water plans? How's that going?
Team me up nicely there, thank you. So look, for 30 years, when water was privatised, we paid them billions. They got a bonus to take this asset and to run it. And I'm not sure whether you're aware of just how terrible the track record of private water is. But over the last 35 years, they've sold many of the assets off. So we've sold around about 30 or 35 reservoirs in the United Kingdom. And we haven't built a single one under privatisation. There's not one been built. Some are now underway, but not one's been built. In terms of the leaks and and fixing the infrastructure, well, bits of that have happened, but most of it has been left to rot. You probably see that from the leaks in the road that come up every few months where you live. And we know that billions of litres of water, are being wasted in the middle of a heat wave. And we know there's going to be 5 billion litre shortfall of water every year in the next 5 to 10 years. So basically this country is going to go from a water abundant country to a country which has water shortages on a regular basis. And that's before you start talking about data centres, okay? So that's where we are with water. But what they've done, not only were they paid billions, not only have they not put a penny of their own private equity into the water infrastructure, which was what was promised would happen, they've taken your bills and they've paid around between 60 and 70 billion pounds in share payments out to shareholders. They've made profit. They've extracted that wealth, mainly from the bills that you've paid by not putting that into the infrastructure. But here's the real kind of clincher. If you still think, well, you know, they're shareholders, they've taken a risk, maybe they need to have a return. Okay, let's park that. Around about 70 to 80 billion pounds, maybe more, has been sweated from the assets. So they've created shell companies and they've borrowed against our water infrastructure, and they've raised another 80 billion pounds that they've paid out in dividend payments and interest payments. So what's in effect happened is, over the last 35 years, they've sucked out vast wealth, vast resource, and put very little back in. And now your bills in the next 2 years will have gone up by, on average, 35%. And you may not know this, but Ofwat is just about to come to its conclusion on what the bill should go up again for the next period, and it's likely to go up. It could be as much as 35% again, or possibly more. So that's where we are. So in effect, what they've been doing is they've been pissing on our heads and telling us it's raining. Well, I think now most people know that they're just pissing on our heads, and they're saying, yeah, actually, we are. But what's anyone going to do about it? And you've got successive governments who completely refuse to accept that one of the most critical resources in this country, you can't reindustrialize, you can't have data centers, you can't have food security, you can't have clean beaches and rivers, you can't have a functioning ecosystem on our rivers and within this country without public ownership of water. Because whilst it's owned by private interests, they will milk and extract every single penny they can. And ultimately, we know the research shows that when people know they own water, when that's your resource, people conserve water far more effectively. That's been shown internationally. So we're an outlier. Literally no other country in the world, not even the US, has private equity, private companies running such a critical piece of infrastructure. And the final thing I will say is, when I was standing up and going toe-to-toe with Steve Reed over this issue when he was Secretary of State for DEFRA, and he's on the right of the party, even to the, on the kind of quite far right of the party. And I said to him, we need public ownership of water. And he stood up and he said, oh, well, my colleague, I'm more interested in the purity of our water than I am in the purity of our ideology. And I can't answer back after I've asked my first question. But what that demonstrates to you is the number of front-rank politicians who think that the privatized ownership of key assets within our society isn't ideological. That's hegemony. That is that they think that is the natural order of things, that this is how it will always be. That's the only thing that works. And he actually believed that. So it tells you how much our political class has been, frankly, corrupted and co-opted into this way of thinking. And it's for the public to let them know that when it comes to something like water, your children can't swim in the river next to you. You can't go into a river because you don't know whether it's going to be contaminated with pollutants and contaminants. You can't go into the sea without looking at an app because you don't know whether there's going to be turds floating in the water when you go surfing or swimming. What has it come to that this has happened? So for me, water is the cutting edge of all that has gone wrong within our democracy and our society over the last 50 years. And it tells you everything about the kind of economy we've created. And if we can get water into public ownership, then we can get energy, then we can get housing, then we can get education, and we can go on and on and on. Water is where ecology, climate, and class all come together. Everyone knows that water is something that should be publicly owned, 85%. So, you know, that's why it's really, really important. That's why we chose it. I'll tell you one last story. This I came back into. You may.
Really got to wrap up.
Oh, you got to wrap up. All right.
We can have you back
Okay. Another story. Another day.
Thank
my
you,
beer.
Dad.
Sorry.
He's absolutely pissed, but he still makes a great. He's not really, but he makes a bloody good point. That man. Thank you. Right, where are we?
Bin face. We're at bin face.
Bin face, bin face, bin face. Oh yes, right. Who loves Count Bin Face? There was a bit of footage of him earlier this week or last week talking to Andrew Marr. Have we got that?
And of course, in terms of Nigel Farage's framing of this campaign, you now represent the entire British establishment.
Yes, quite. Well, I've been waiting for this, to be honest with you, Andrew. I mean, where's my invite to the Spectator Summer Party, to the Garrick Club, to Wimbledon Royal Box, to last night at the proms? Because I tell you this, if I am part of the establishment, I'm getting NFI'd to a lot of the good stuff.
Very good. And in terms of your actual policies, I read out a few of them earlier on. What do you think is going to resonate most with the people of Clapton?
Clapton's in London.
I know, I'm a Londoner, sorry.
Well, I'm from Sigma 9 and I get it right. You've got no excuse. But no, I take your point. You've got a lot of places to do.
So, I mean, I just wanted to say about that clip that Andrew Marr in that interview, I think, is being like the most British person that is left in broadcasting, don't you? Like, he's so allows the joke. I've seen people trying to take Binface seriously, like, but who's funding you and what will you really do? And you're going to have to take that bin off your head. Don't you realise all this stuff? And Andrew Marr just goes along with him because it is a joke.
It is a joke, but there is a chance he'll get in now. I mean, bin for the win is actually trending. So I think we might have to take him seriously. Who would choose Binface over Farage? I think we might have to start working out his policies, one of which is moving a hand dryer in his Uxbridge pub, which, frankly, I'm living for. So, big up Binface! Next up, we have Hardeep Matharu. She's the editor of Byline Tent, who are hosting us today. She graduated from Cambridge with a degree in law before going into local journalism, working her way up the ladder to become editor-in-chief of Byline News. Please welcome Hardeep Matharu. Hello. You look so glamorous.
Yeah, she does, doesn't she?
Thank you. I've always had this philosophy that the world is my catwalk. So I just go for it. I bought this outfit about 2 months ago when my cousin got married. He had a very big Indian wedding. There were like several days and hours of functions, as we call them. And so I thought I'd bring this back because I'm only going to wear it at the next big Indian wedding I attend. So, yes,
absolutely amazing. Showing up most journalisms. What is wrong with journalism today and how is the Byline Times going to fix it?
Gosh, I mean, where do we start? I mean, I think that clip is really telling. I get your point, Claire, that it's very British, isn't it?
Oh dear.
Sorry. Did Clive spill all this?
Clive threw his beer all over the floor and then just left, yeah.
So, yes, it's very British, isn't he, that he's playing along. But I also think that, in a way, what Binface is showing is that finally the joke is on the kind of established media, right?
Yeah.
And on Farage, because he thought that everyone would want to spend the entire summer, all the papers would want to give him all this coverage about his by-election, right? And no one's standing against him. And Count Binface has to be taken seriously in some regard. And
Can I just quickly read out some of the other, there's 34 other people running against.
It's a long list.
Yeah, a long list. So we've got Binface, Nick the Incredible Flying Brick, Woke Trump Kazi, Everyone is God, and some weird bloke called Nigel Farage.
Yeah, it's going to be quite a lineup on election night. But that's the point. I mean, when he resigned and did this big address, and it was all about how everyone in the media is out to get him. He even mentioned Leveson, which was extraordinary, considering the kind of work we do. But it kind of shows
the wizard's cleaning up the beer. The wizard's cleaning up the beer. He normally does some psychic readings, but you didn't foresee that one though, did you, Wizard?
No.
Better late than never.
But I think the contempt. Thanks, Wizard. I think the contempt is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
So Nigel Farage resigns and calls a by-election in Clacton purely because he's being investigated. Scrutiny is being applied. Not only by parliamentary authorities and the police, but finally the established media, right? And I think it's that contempt which Binface is he's kind of the anti-contempt candidate, which is chucking contempt back in to Andrew Marr's face. And I think there's something about that actually that is all very British, which I like.
Well, and that list, I mean, I was reading a list the other day. It's a clairvoyant, who's a woman who left Reform. You know, there's a sex therapist. There's all sorts of people. A man who's dressed as a fox has dropped out. So unfortunately, that's one that won't be in the shot. He got the front page of the newspapers and said, my work here is done. I got myself on the front page of the papers and that's it.
Oh, I quite like that about British democracy, though. If you got 500 quid, you can run. Why not? What was I going to ask? You were in Makerfield, which we were as well. I came across, not everything that we filmed was on there. I met some truly horrifying people. Like one guy was so desperate for us to talk to him. He came up to me and went, well, you're an artist, aren't you? So you know you can't take two colours and mix them together. And I said, that's literally how you make colours. And he went, well, you can't mix all of them. I said, you can do what you like. But I got really upset and sort of, I actually was quite angry, especially when the camera wasn't there, and I thought, he's just poisonous people. And I wondered, do you have any tactics for dealing with people that have quite poisonous views when you're with them to sort of not punch them in the face?
Yeah, it's really interesting because I had a similar experience in Makerfield. I was in a cafe and a trio of men had come up to campaign all for Restore Britain. And one of them, any time that Elon Musk or Nigel Farage was mentioned, he stood up and did a faux salute. And a big Cheshire grin. Anyway, me and Peter Jukes, we were both there. We got talking to them, and there was something similar, like you experienced about the colour mix, the mix of colours. One man, we got onto immigration, and one of these Restore Britain activists said, the thing is, we have a chessboard here, and we want to play chess. And what's happened in many, many years is all these other counters have been put onto the chessboard and people want to play tiddlywinks on the chessboard. And we want to get back to playing chess. And of course, I feel a lot of emotions and thoughts in that moment. I don't know, I think something I do love about being a journalist is you have to try to take a step back within yourself. And if the aim is to be curious and to try to understand, that doesn't mean you agree with everything you're hearing, but if you can even try to understand where somebody is coming from or why this chessboard analogy in particular is being put forward, if you can be really present with that and also the person that it's coming from, I really love that. You mentioned that I did a law degree.
So is that the solution? Just become a journalist?
I don't know. People often ask me, why don't you get riled up at these
very
people?
Calm, yeah. We just want to thank you for hosting us here today and for the work that you're doing and for constantly holding Farage to account. So can we have a big
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Hardeep. Okay.
Now we have some poetry for you. Who wants some poetry? We've got Chris Redmond, one half of Hot Poets, who brings language and science together. His work has been seen on the BBC, ITV, Sky Arts, and he is hosting the Yak Shack tent at this here WOMAD Festival. Please welcome to the stage, Chris! Hello, Hello, Chris. Chris, what makes you such a hot poet?
What I think the heat waves.
Oh, okay, it's that type of hot. Okay.
Yeah, it's quite literal. It's quite literal. Yeah. Hot Poets is a project that I run with Liv Talk, who programs the Hip Yak Poetry Shack over there. We've been running it for the last 5 years, and the whole principle of Hot Poets was to partner poets with scientists and architects and engineers and farmers, people doing amazing stuff to transform the earth for the better, with the principle of championing the change makers. A lot of poetry is written from a place of protest, from a place of emotional reaction to something which is valid and necessary. And also, we recognize as artists that we have a responsibility to look for the other stories as well. So this is a big piece. There's so many stories, and how we orientate ourselves towards the challenge is dependent on the stories that we inform ourselves by, right? So, yeah.
I love that. Round of applause, everyone. Chris Redmond.
So, we've spent the last 5 years working with loads of scientists, architects, like I said, and we worked with 100+ people on different continents, different artists, people working in a really different way. And what we've done this year is launch an education program to go into schools and bring kind of creative climate education into primary and secondary schools, because climate is taught in science and geography. Those are the places, those are the subjects it has to be taught in. Pretty narrow parameters, so there's not really a need for kind of kids to learn about the social justice angle. There's not really a need for them to kind of learn about how it might be impacting them, or for them to have any agency in it, really. It's like, here's the problem, here's why it happens, and here's where it happens. So it's like dropping existential threat into the classroom, then saying, let's make a poster. Cool, now do maths. I think we need to do better, right? I think we need to do better than that. So we partner with some amazing climate and education specialists at the University of Oxford, at UCL for their Centre of Climate Change and Sustainability in Education, and Michael Rosen and Joseph Coelho, some amazing poets writing for children. And we've made this book, and we're going into schools to use this as our sort of tool. We've made the poems and the resources for National Poetry Day this year. They get used by about 1.2 million kids. So like about 40,000 teachers will download the resources. So these are going out there and having an impact in the classroom. And I'm going to read you, what should I do? I'll give you an example of what we do. It's not my poem. This is a poem by Elvis McGonigal. It's about elephant poo. Kids love a poem with poo in. Kids love a poem. Who doesn't love a poem with poo in? There's a lovely fact about elephants. 100 years ago, there were about 10 million elephants on the planet. Each one did about a ton of poo a week. That's 10 million tons of poo being spread all across Africa and Asia. And each one of those poos contains all of the necessary ingredients to plant new trees, new plants, everything. Today, there's about 500,000 elephants. So when you take that into a classroom, you're not saying we want to protect elephants because we love them, they're really cool, they've got big ears. We're saying they're actually gardeners. They're a really key part of our ecosystem that we need to protect, because without them, we have less trees. We literally have less trees. So, and here's a poo poem, just to entertain you along the way. So this is a massive pile of poo by Elvis McGonigal. I'm a funky trunked, flap-eared elephant, ecologically hugely relevant, deep in the jungle in my elephant, doing what us elephants do. Munching and a scrunching day and night, fruit, roots, leaves, got a giant appetite, don't digest a lot, but that's all right. Out it comes in our elephant poo. We spread it all about, nice and grubbery, mega gardeners trampling the shrubbery, no need for wellies, our feet are rubbery, don't touch our tusks, protect our precious poo. They're jumbo jobbies, too large for a loo, too crucial to waste in a circus or a zoo. They help the forest store CO2. Nature's calling out for elephant poo. These are my favourite rhymes here, because my unsung dung's full of far-flung seeds. Trees grow where I go instead of just weeds. My feces feeds every species needs for kinder climates from Perth to Peru. Come on, that's good, right? So I'll blow a trumpety trump, 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 3 cheers for life-saving heffalump dump. Whopping, dropping with a satisfying thump. A whop, pop, a plop, elephant poo. Yes.
Thank you very much.
That was really... Who wrote that?
That's Elvis McGonigal.
Was that a kid?
No, that's
right.
That's a very well-established grown-up poet
I
with
thought
30 years
so.
of experience.
Okay, that was really good. Right, we've got time for one more poem. You've got to go straight into it. We've got a couple of minutes.
Great. What we talk about is elephant poo. We talk about very small solutions and talk about big solutions. I came across a project called the Weathermakers, holistic engineers from the Netherlands who have a plan to regreen the Sinai Peninsula, a whole dusty, arid mountain desert region in northern Egypt. There's a water system that was there that they think they can reboot. This is stuff that has been done. China have already done it in the lowest plateau. You can turn an arid, dusty desert landscape into a lush green vegetation water cycle in about 30 years. And this is a poem about their principle that Earth is the greatest engineer. So part of the problem with kids is you're telling them all the problems and the challenges, but we want to bring, for every challenge and a problem that we talk about, we want to bring a solution. So this is about a solution that is not just an idea, it's proven to be possible and has been done. It's called Who's the Boss? This is by a poet called Chris Redmond. That's me.
Yay!
Thanks so much. Who's the smartest? Who's the fastest? Wettest, driest, lushest, harshest? Who's the grower, the eon knower, life sower, breath slower? Who's the one with all the views? Auroras, mountains, moose, shrews, oceans, rivers, forests, soil. Who is the one that we have spoiled? She is the greatest engineer. A perfect green-blue spinning sphere, water cycles, plants and gases, electric fungus, mangrove masses. And if we mimic how she moves, how evolution shows and proves 4 billion years of error and trial, could we restore her in just a while? It's possible. It's plausible, it's effective and causable. If we use satellites and maps, we draw big graphs and step right back, perhaps we might see all the keys to future farms, cities and trees, rivers rushing from dried up streams, dusty deserts to fresh and green. Shh, listen, can you hear the stories of the greatest engineer? Thank you so much. Go get the book. And one final little plug. We're crowdfunding to put more poets in schools. Many schools want this education project, but many schools have no money. So we're doing a crowdfunder. We're doing this our own way. We're raising money, also funny, to put poets in schools to do this work. So if you would like to chip in and make this possible and bring hope and agency to young people in your school, then please put a little bit of money in there. There's a QR code. I'm going to leave it just on here. You can scan it. Thank you so much.
Chris Redmond from Hot Poets. Thank you. You are indeed very hot. I think there's some sort of like abyss down here. It's like a Bermuda Triangle. Everything is just being pulled. Sorry about that. Okay, it's all carnage. What's next, Clary?
So next, one of the main reasons why we started this show is to shine a light on the people that really do keep the country and our communities running.
That's correct. Nela Geuer's activism started in the pram, joining her parents on liberation demos. Then in her teens in Germany, she took part in anti-nuclear demos, house squats, and fighting for a just society.
And Nela joined Extinction Rebellion as part of the Action Support Team. She's now part of South Lake's Action on Climate Change and other projects bringing people together around food. So please welcome Nela.
How are you? I'm all right. Watch it, because stuff will happen beneath you, and we don't quite know why. You're okay. Yeah. Things will fall. Don't worry. I love that you started your activism in the pram. I think a lot of people here probably bring their kids to protests and stuff. So did it radicalise you at an early age?
Yes, that's an simple answer. Yes, it helped. And my mom was inspiring, and she was fed up after having 4 children in 5 years and fighting for women's liberation and things like this. So that started it off.
Yeah, great. When you were supporting people in Extinction Rebellion, I think like everyone sees all the sort of drama and the arrests and all the stuff that goes on the news. But can you tell us a bit about like doing the background support work for a movement like that?
it's interesting because that's where it all happens. And I was someone who didn't want to be arrested or can't be because of not being a British citizen, and I didn't want to justify being kicked out of the country. And the fact of being taken away from a place by the police against my will is quite, yeah. So, yeah, XR did a lot about this in the background work as well.
Yeah.
I'm waffling now.
We're just welcoming to the stage as well, because I think we're running out of time, Anthea Lawson, author and journalist. So we've now got you both on stage. Sorry, we've massively overrun and we get kicked out at 6. So thank you for joining us also. Give a little intro about yourself.
Thank you very much. Well, I was partying over... I think there's beer on this seat.
There's what?
I think there's beer
There's
on this
definitely beer on that seat. I'm so sorry, everybody. It's a festival.
It is a festival. And I was partying as part of the festival until about half an hour ago. And I'll be...
Have you been to sleep, Anthea?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, good.
Somewhat.
That's all we want. Yes.
Slightly less than normal, yes. So I'm the author of a book called How Not to Save the World, whose subtitle is Doing Good Without Annoying Everyone. And I do sometimes have to point out that that doesn't say without annoying anyone, because sometimes we do have to annoy people.
I think it's very important to annoy people, Anthea.
Yeah, it is part of it.
It's Claire's main thing in life.
It's my main job. Can you tell us about obviously in that book, one of the things you're looking at is basically how to try and sort of do activism without having a massive saviour complex.
Yeah, I mean, one way of describing it is that I was looking for antidotes to the saviour complex, but a more perhaps easy to grasp way of looking at it is that I was wanting to write a book about the antidotes to the common pitfalls of activism. Because I've been doing it for 30 years, all kinds of versions, like hanging out on permaculture projects, growing hydroponic tomatoes with recycled piss, going on protest. I mean, honestly, yeah, I shit you not. Going on protests, working for human rights organisations, actually getting laws changed sometimes.
Right.
And in all that time, I would see, regardless of the situation, whether it's going on at the United Nations or whether it's going on in community level, the same stuff will come up. The righteousness comes up, the burnout comes up, the conflict comes up. Now, I didn't want to write this to be negative about activism, because there are plenty of people being negative about activism already. The way that the far right and the radical right, the populist right works, Trump already got into power doing this, is they put a wedge between the people who are already taking action and the many people who actually agree with them but are not yet taking action. You know, and our government's trying to do the same now. Through all these crackdowns and protest laws and so on. So this isn't about demonising it. I wanted to write it to resource people who are already doing activism, because I've interviewed hundreds of people who've been doing it for ages to get their wisdom about how they avoid falling into these traps. But really, actually, I also wrote it for people who are not involved yet, people who are a bit worried about the state of the world and might want to do something, don't really know where to start, and they might look at activists or that cliched figure of the activist and go, oh, I'm not sure that's me. I mean, Claire looks very cool, but, you know, doing Extinction Rebellion, but that might not be me. And, we meet people all the time who might not think it's them, which is no shade on the activists. So by deconstructing that cliche, I wanted to show that there are so many other ways of doing it, including all the stuff going on in communities.
Well, Nela, I'll bring you back in because you're an everyday activist person, and apparently you're currently dealing with a racist neighbour. Tell us what's going on there and how are you coping with it?
The racist neighbour, yeah. I was hoping to talk about how neighbouring is here in this festival, how great it is to be around and connect with the different people. But yes, my racist neighbour mentioned the word the boat people, it's all their fault kind of thing. And I thought, well, just what you mean? So my theory is usually to question things and try people to explain what you're actually saying, what you're trying to say. So
did you say the boat people?
She said yes, and the boat people is all their fault. So what do you mean? So I ended up explaining to her it's not really their fault. They haven't done anything. They're fleeing war. They're fleeing difficult circumstances. Do you understand, kind of thing? I didn't say it like this, but yeah. So she noticed and she understood really what was going on there. So I was really happy to clear that up for her in a way.
So you did what we were talking about earlier, which is taking something quite difficult and being able to greet it with love instead of annoyance.
Yes.
Well done. Thank you very much for doing that.
And I suppose that's also quite got a lot in common Anthea, with the stuff you've been doing on the streets. So do you want to just say a little bit about what you do on the streets?
Yeah, I was thinking this earlier when you were asking Hardeep how do you cope with people saying things that are really, really difficult? Because I'm encountering this all the time. So I'm involved in a project called Common Ground. You can find us on Instagram at Common Ground Conversations UK. Our technology, it's really lo-fi. It's a flip chart and an A1 sheet and some Sharpies and some stickers. And we write a bunch of questions about politics and democracy, sometimes about current policies. So when Reform's latest fuckery was that they were going to talk about repealing the Equality Act. And so we had a question that was like, do you support women's working and reproductive rights? So sometimes they're topical, sometimes they're more general about the environment, about immigration, about whether people think we have more in common. Actually, the answers to the questions are not really the point. The whole point here is just to get people into conversation. And then there are columns for yes, no, and question mark, and we give people stickers. Everyone likes stickers. And we just set up outside a shop that's closed down. There's usually a few of those on every high street, so we don't annoy the retailers. And we just get people into conversations for a couple of hours. And it's absolutely fucking remarkable what happens. It's really amazing. There are some people that you are not going to steer them out of their views. You're not going to persuade anyone out of their views on, for example, immigration. You know, all of the like psychological research shows you can't persuade people like that. So we don't even try, and practically you can't do it. We don't even try that. But what you can do by listening, by then sharing your own views, and without doing it in a way that's like, did you know? There's none of that hectoring. You just do it in a kind of non-violent communication way, which starts with your own fears. So I might say, oh, do you know what? I hear you, but what really worries me is, and then I say the thing that worries me is that actually your views, whatever they are, they're being weaponized by people who don't have yours or my economic interests at heart. And it's absolutely amazing where you can go with a conversation like that in finding literally common ground with people. So there are situations where people say things that I find absolutely horrific, and I feel the kind of magma chamber in me like rising up, and I want to really go for it. And I've just learnt through experience, partly through writing this book and interviewing so many people who do manage to keep calm, I've learnt to just kind of quell it and just have a bit of curiosity. So if I'm feeling resourced and I've had enough coffee and I'm like ready to go, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. What's led you to that view? You know, even a direct why can be a bit aggressive and people can get on the defensive. But if you just keep asking why, or what's led you to that, people are forced to articulate it. Well, not forced, that's the wrong word, but they're invited to articulate it, and then they hear themselves saying it.
Yeah.
And
Well,
that's
that
really
was
powerful.
one thing on the ground in Makerfield. I kept sort of saying, and where do you get most of your information from? And it was just constantly Instagram videos. And I just kept getting them to say it over and over again to the point that they were, well, yeah, I don't really consume much other news. It's mainly Instagram videos. It was like, okay, thank you very much.
But this is really frightening, because what I'm realising is that, and it's interesting for all of us taking part, and we come from different backgrounds as well, is the way that most people are not, they're not set in their political views. There are a bunch of people like on the other side who are like really convinced. They take one look at the questions and they're like, oh, I can see what you're doing there, love. I'm not going there. But there's a whole load of people who, people aren't set. They're like a muddle of views, the stuff they grew up with, their material current conditions, what they had for breakfast that morning, what they've heard on talk radio that morning, what somebody sent them on Facebook. And because things are so polarised, it's very hard to have... We talk in order to work out what we think, don't we? So many of us. And when things are polarised, you can't say what you think because your nearest and dearest or some fucking random on Facebook will jump on you. And so we're not getting the opportunities to, like, sort through our views and actually...
Without being judged as
yes,
well.
And
so
just
giving
air
a
them,
chance.
like letting some air in, basically, to these tight little boxes. Yeah, it's amazing what happens. So, yeah, I'm really a convert to it.
Fabulous.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Okay, I think we're running out of time, are we? We've got to move on to the next segment. So thank you so much for both coming on and
Thank you.
being our activists for today.
Okay, now we are coming towards the end. We've got time for one of our regular features. You may remember Mystic Meg, but we've got our very own wizard, the great Gandolfo. You saw him earlier wiping up beer from the Bermuda Triangle we have in the corner of the table. We're all pretty concerned with the future of this country. Give it a second, Gandalf. I'm not finished introducing you yet. We're all worried about the state of the country right now. And when traditional methods aren't working, why not turn to the cards? It is, of course, time for Britain's Got Tarot.
Thank you, Jess. Today, I come with a very significant question to ask the tarot cards, and that is, do they have a message for the people of Clacton as they face the most significant by-election in modern history? And I tell you, people of WOMAD, that they do. The cards have veritably leapt from the pack as I ask them the question. The first card tells us how we came to be in this position in the first place. And it is a most auspicious card. It is, ladies and gentlemen, the Empress. Quite literally, in this context, I think, talking to us about our outmoded ideas of benevolent hierarchy, indeed, empire. But where are we today? The second card tells us this, and it is the Two of Swords reversed. A woman is blindfolded. She is confused. She is surrounded by disinformation. The two swords she holds suggest that we have a binary choice. Could that be between the establishment and a bin? For the answer, we must turn to the third card, which tells us how we might navigate this future. And it is, indeed, the Wheel of Fortune. Ooh. This card tells us of karmic importance. What goes around comes around. What will this mean for Nigel Farage? Will his land of hope and glory end up being sent to landfill? Will nasty Nigel's narcissistic nationalism end up being consigned to the dustbin of history? The Wheel of Fortune card asks us to believe in optimism, that the universe has our best interests at heart. So it is time, people of Clacton and of WOMAD, to be a good neighbour and to help take the bins out, because I believe that on the 13th of August, the rubbish will be collected.
The great Gandalfo, everyone. He never gets it wrong. Except for when he enters 5 minutes early. Thank you, goodbye. Love you, bye. Love you, bye.
Thanks.
All right, we've come to the final few minutes. Thank you for being with us today. This is our first big festival. We have got one more guest for you. It's a musician, it's a friend of mine, it's a returning guest. It's singer-songwriter Gemma Rogers and Tom, our guitarist. Hello, Gemma Rogers.
Right, am I sitting here?
Welcome,
Yes,
welcome.
sit down, please. We're going
Hi.
to interview you and
Feel
grill
very
you about
honoured.
politics, which I know you're very up on. Not really. Not really.
I am actually, thank you very much.
Have you been having
Our
a
songs
wonderful
do the
WOMAD?
talking. It's been wonderful so far, mainly hanging out with you, Jess, Flynn. Woo. Hello, Claire.
Hello, love.
Thanks for having us back.
Thanks for being here. Please don't spill anything. Everyone keeps dropping stuff in that corner.
We wouldn't do that. Hello to everyone out there. How are you doing? Having a good WOMAD? Yeah.
I feel we're really close. I'm going to move slightly to the side. What are you going to play?
What's wrong? Do I smell? Probably do. I haven't had a while. It means WOMAD.
What are you going to play?
We're going to play a song called 6 Billion. This song is about, I don't know, what it means to be human at the moment, with lots of big, loud algorithms everywhere. It's about what it means to be a human with a heart and an independent mind. And we wrote this song off the back of that. This is called 8 Billion. I've just got to plug in, though. So, am I plugged in? You're plugged. This is Tom Hammond, everyone.
Take it away, Gemma and Tom.
Hold on, check, 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, that sounds beautiful. Who's the sound man? Or person, girl?
Down there.
Thank you. Round of applause for the sound man. That was so quick. Okay, this is called 6 Billion. I sit here and I prophesize as we orchestrate our own demise. Give permission to the great AI to rip out our hearts and rob us blind. It's snowing in the summertime. The sound wave has become a line. Dracula and Frankenstein steal your blood and rip your mind. Your soul can now be digitized. 6 billion ways to die. 8 billion folk alive. I know you know the world can feel insane when you're a number, not a name. He's gonna have to slow it down a bit. It's a bit fast. That's it. Here we go. Whew. Sleeping at the back again in history class, dreaming of a future that's already past. It goes in one ear, snowing on the summertime. The sound wave has become a line. Dracula and Frankenstein steal your blood and rob your mind. Victor shouts, it's alive. 6 billion ways to die. 8 billion folk alive. I know you know the world can feel insane when you're a number, not a name. 'Cause there are 6 billion ways to die. 8 billion folk alive. I know you know the world can feel insane when you're a number, not a name. We never seem to learn. Watch the pages burn. Gather round, warm our bones, ashes in the earth. 6 billion ways to die. 8 billion folk alive. I know you know the world can feel insane when you're a number, not a name. 'Cause there are 6 billion ways to die. 8 billion folk alive. I know you know the world can feel insane when you're a number, not a name. 'Cause there are 6 billion ways to die. 6 billion ways to crash, to burn, to break, to fade. But now there's 8 billion of us still breathing, still scrolling, still screaming to the same digital storm. 8 billion folk alive. Alive, not hashtags or data points, survey results or social metrics. Because that's what they want us to become. Barcodes of blood and hope and hunger. We measure worth in clicks and value in identity and visibility and how loud we can shout into the storm. See me, I exist, I'm alive, I'm alive. Have we got time for one more or not? Yes! Oh, yay!
Oh, yay.
That was so good.
Thank you, Just Flynn. Is that why I am a returning guest?
Yes. Correct.
You haven't heard the next one yet? Stick with us, folks. Turn it down, mate. All right.
Sorry about that.
Right.
What are we doing?
I think we're going to do... Tom, you've got to put your mask on. Tom's got to put mask in. Drum roll, everyone on your knees. Drum roll. He gets his... That's it. Come on. Etty, you're very good at drum rolls. That's it. Don't knock the mic stands off, though, guys. That's all right. No, you guys keep going. It's these guys I'm worried about. All right. It's about the collective kind of scratching of heads, you know, and the noise and the sort of strange people that... Yeah, I don't need to say any more. Right, this is called WTF. You know, you can take it off if you want. Team U. Yeah, you can take it off.
Put it on.
Can you do it with the mask on, though?
I can't, what?
Oh, it's awful. Look at the nose.
I can't really see anything, but I can't see anything, it's fine.
What a time to... Here we go. Right. Look at the nose. All right, here we go. What a time to be alive. The devil or the deep blue sea, pick a side. From dawn to dusk, it's Trump and Musk. You pray the circus never comes to town. You got it all, but you want more. I'm getting dizzy on this money go round. Stop, just look inside. Hope hasn't died. Love be our guide. The greed is contagious. contagious. My feed is outrageous. Tomatoes, tomatoes. WTF is going. I keep thinking about these guys. They're living inside my mind. They're spinning a web of lies for me, and I keep thinking about these guys. They're ripping apart these times. I'm trying to repair my life with super glue. What a time to be alive. They're gonna make us all upload our minds, sign our names, so it's a blame. The T's and C's no one ever reads. The deal is done, cut out our tongues. They wash our mouths out with a bucket of bleach. Stop, just look inside. Hope hasn't died. Love be my guide. Spiders inside us, they spin webs to bind us. They conquer, divide us. WTF is going. I keep thinking about these guys. They're living inside my mind. They're spinning a web of lies for me, and I keep thinking about these guys. They're living inside my mind. They're spinning a web of lies for me, and no one of us is free. They want their World War III. More profit, more damage, but they haven't seen the last of you, and I keep thinking about these guys. They're living inside my mind. They're spinning a web of lies for me, and I keep thinking about these guys. They're living inside my mind. They're spinning a web of lies for me, and I keep thinking about these guys. They're ripping apart these times. I'm trying to repair my life with super glue.
Gemma Rogers and Tom, everybody!
Thank you very much.
Oh, I'm just proud as punch, I am. That was so good, wasn't it? Did you enjoy that? Thanks for joining us. We've come to the end of the show.
Yeah, absolute chaos. Sorry we didn't get everyone back on stage. I always run out of time.
We would like to thank for coming on.
Yeah, we'd like to thank our guests, especially Tom, all the crew, actually. Let's do them first. Tommy on cameras. Thank you, Tommy. Thank you, Dave, standing in on cameras. Thank you, Stella, on lights and production and doing this at us because we're always running late. Thank you, Dia, for the roaming camera. Thank you to our producer, Andrew Tate.
Andrew, stand up. Come on, show us your ankles. Show us your ankles. Thanks to Clive Lewis, Hardeep Matharu,
Nela Geuer,
Anthea Lawson,
Chris Redmond,
and Gemma Rogers, and thanks to my co-host Clare Farrell.
Thank you, Jessie.
Thanks, everyone. Love you. Bye. We've been